inside my head becoming blurred by so much said. I'm in too deep waters I tread, can't catch my breath. A shadow chasing me, a game of hide and seek. Found they'll have a peace. All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. I don't know what the hell happened to Mikey. I've texted him twice now. I've told him to get off his slacking ass and get in here, but what do you do? He'll be here, I guess, eventually. But for now, we're just going to get things going, and then he can jump in whenever he is ready and able to do so. I think his wife got him to do chores or something. Anyways, with me today, I've got my friend Lee Collins right over here. It's weird how this is all backwards. I still can't get used to that. But anyways, Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Neil. I'm excited, a little bit nervous.
Nervous.
I think I don't know, because to be honest, I feel like I know you. I emailed you, a year ago. I don't know if you remember. But I have watched your show for a long time, and just drawn encouragement from it, and just felt like it's my time to
come and share.
And so thank you for the opportunity. I've just
my pleasure.
Appreciate you and Mikey.
I'm gonna hold your feet to the fire on something that you had put in one of your emails, or in one of the emails of our correspondence there. You said you consider yourself to be a humanist.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And yet spiritual. So I need to know, before we even get this conversation going, what exactly do you mean when you use the term spiritual?
Well, I thought we might get into this, and a few notes that I took, I labeled it labels. And I've struggled with labels. The atheist label, for me, represents what I'm not, or what people aren't. And it's a great label, but it didn't seem to really encapture what I was becoming.
Okay.
For me, and I really try not to get ahead, Neil, but your question is so good. I feel almost like a born again humanist.
Okay.
Or a spiritual humanist. And that's because even without believing that there's a deity or that there's sacred scriptures, there's moments that I feel a connection to the universe that I can't explain.
Well, and you are connected to the universe.
And then there's moments that I feel enraptured. And so it to me, the only term right now that I can capture with that is being spiritual. And
okay. All right,
I
it's more
feel
of a descriptor for a way you just believe you feel.
Well, yes, and as the more that I challenge my thinking and I travel, I mean, is it possible there's a universal spirit that, and in other words, there's this part of us that's in our DNA that is life force, and so we're connected. So Neil, I'm kind of grasping for labels, and so a spiritual humanist kind of captures kind of what I feel.
Okay, I'll touch on one thing for sure. You said a universal spirit, which, again, that sort of needs a definition in and of its own. But do you mean like some sort of an entity that is connected to the universe, or?
No, I don't. I think I feel that we're connected, and so there's a person in Belgrade right now, or in Vancouver, that feels what you and I feel and struggles with the same struggles.
Sure.
And it's unspoken. And when we get together, there's this force that I think we harness. And I find that the more that I travel, I just see that inherent in people is this goodness that seems to be
I
a
would say so
force.
for the most part.
So
That's interesting. Well, we are connected to the universe because you have stuff inside you, and I do as well, that came from many, many stars. Stars had to explode in order for us to be here, to dump all the heavy materials that stars do when they blow up. So, and create while they're alive as well. So we do have that connection to the universe. We are of the universe, and we will ultimately return to that universe. Our atoms will be redispersed back out there, and who knows, maybe some of the particles that were once in you might come back in somebody else, right? And that's possible. But
I mean,
they can't say that for sure. But I mean, I think the likelihood is probably at least reasonably high. Because I mean, if you look at it this way, I'm drinking a glass of water right now, and we've had the same water table on our planet for the past 3-point-something billion years, right? Ever since water stopped collecting or becoming what it is on the planet now. I'll guarantee you that Caesar and Napoleon and Gandhi have all drank in the same water I'm drinking right now. And it's been through their systems, and now it's going through mine.
I mean, to think about that and the implications of that, and then you look at the pictures of the, Hubble deep space stuff that we don't even know, and yet there's a connectedness. And so, coming out of fundamental, religion, and you haven't asked me that yet, so I'm not going to go there, but
we'll get there.
I almost feel like a born again humanist. I've toyed with that term because when I recognize that mankind is not evil and not sinful and not inherently bad, but I think the opposite. It is life changing. It is enlivening. It is invigorating. So I'm still on my journey to find a label, and maybe label's a bad term. So
I think you're trying to find something that describes you the best.
Yeah. Did I dig a deeper hole and make it worse, or did I?
No. Did
I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Sufficiently, anyways. I always kind of ask people what they mean when they say spiritual. So, because for me, I've had spiritualistic experiences going to a movie that I've been looking forward to for years, right? So,
well, that's Neil. To me, there's some music that I listen to. I was just, on my playlist, or I'm somewhere in a group of people, and the conversation is so rich, and people are growing, and I feel like it's a spiritual experience, and so that word encompasses for me what I can't explain, and yet I think the term has been co-opted by the religious community, but I think it's a word that means human experience that we can't explain, and that is deep and meaningful. And what is Irish Swede saying? What is a Tom?
Tom Collins.
Oh, a Tom. Drink. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Welcome to my chat, people.
But Neil, I would enjoy more discussions like this. What language serves you? What words? And this idea that certain groups own the language is ridiculous to me.
Yeah. How do you own something that is constantly changing and evolving? Languages have evolved for millennia, right? If you went back 400 years, I highly doubt you would even understand more than half of the shit anyone who spoke English was even saying. So,
Good point.
So language constantly evolves, and the words we use as descriptors for the most part. Words are intrinsic, so they keep changing over time. But all that aside, now that I have more of an understanding of what you mean when you say you're born again humanist, which I think is a great term. Take us back to the days when you were in a belief system and kind of how you found your way out of it.
Well, I grew up. I grew up in Virginia, which is kind of the heart of the old South, and very religious. And I grew up in a Southern Baptist family. And while my parents were not, crazy or ridiculous, it was a very fundamental upbringing. And I had an experience at age 18. I was born again. And became.
Lee, tell me a little bit about that experience.
Well, so when I was there, just believing that, I could, if I died, I'd go to hell, that I was a bad person, that Jesus died for my sins, and that by repentance, I could be saved.
Sure.
Looking back, I know that it was, more of an awareness thing, but at the time, it just seemed that my life, not that I was a horrible person, but I became a very astute, aware person. As a young person, I began to care about others. And so the only reference I had was the Bible that was given to me. And I was told that this is the literal word of God. Everything is true. And so that charted the course for the next several decades of my life. And I was all in.
Wow. Do you consider yourself somewhat of a fundamentalist, believing that the Bible was that true and that couldn't be contradicted? Or
absolutely. And what's interesting is fundamentalists, you can be fundamentalist and be in a non-denominational church. So it's a little cooler,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
A little hipper, but you still have this rigid, this is it. Anything outside of this, paradigm is false. And so, regrettably, my stance on same-sex attraction and some other issues, and, hopefully we'll get to that, but, it was governed. Hellbound Hillbilly's on a roll tonight.
Yes, he is.
but being indoctrinated, that was everything. How you lived your marriage, how you raised your kids. Let's go back to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was.
Yeah, if they misbehave, you can stone them. It's great. Right?
Oh, and
I thought they meant give them a joint, but yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of how I grew up. And when you had issues, the pastor had the answers, and it was always, you need to repent more, and you need to be sorry more, and you need to pray more, and
God must have been Canadian. You need to be sorry more.
Oh my!
Because we're always sorry up here. Sorry about that. Sorry about our Canada geese people.
That's a Canadian thing, huh?
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Yeah, there's even little gifts you can get with them waving the flag and waving and going, sorry.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Just ask Canadian Ollieman in the chat. He'll tell you. We're always sorry, right, Ollie? Of course, he'll probably say no. The only time I'm sorry is when I miss my disc golf.
Oh, is he a big disc golfer? Is that big in Canada or just with him?
It is. It's big here.
Oh.
I wouldn't say it's like super huge, but it's a lot of people play it here, as I'm finding out.
It kind of had
Sorry. Sorry, what's that?
It kind of had its thing here, and my niece in Harrisonburg, she's starting to her group is playing it, but I think it had disappeared for a while. So that's why I'm like, wait a minute, that's a thing?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Ollie plays it fairly, I guess, professionally, you could say. So.
Oh wow.
He played disc golf tonight and shot a -3. There you go. Awesome.
Oh wow. Go Ollie.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, in the after party, I'm sure he'll be here, so you get to meet him and talk about that.
Cool.
Were you guys like heavy churchgoers back in the day? Like, did you attend every like Sunday and every holiday where it was required, that kind of thing?
It every Sunday, Wednesday night, Tuesday night, depending on where you were.
Right.
And required is the wrong word, but there was a heavy expectation.
Right.
And if you missed church and then some things in your life went awry, there was some subtle reminders that, oh, perhaps.
No, probably because you didn't show up.
That's right. That's right. You weren't in church. You weren't tithing, or you weren't tithing, right? You weren't giving money.
Of course, because God's broke.
Yes. Well, he owns the cattle.
I think it's cheap creating a universe. Come on.
Well, God doesn't need the money, but you need to give it. That was the message, right? It's for you. It's not for him.
Famous. Well, if it's for me, why can't I keep it?
Well, famous because it will demonstrate your faithfulness, your commitment, your sacrifice.
To make sure the pastor drives a nice car. I got you.
I was reading something recently, and it kind of triggering, but the whole prosperity thing is really running rampant here.
Yeah.
But I can't judge anybody because I played a role in that. I was, I didn't do a lot of thinking back then.
Fair enough. You hear that, Joel Osteen? We're watching you.
Oh my goodness. I have Joel. There's people, that Joel Osteen and a bunch of others,
Oh yeah. What's his name that was trying to blow COVID away?
Oh. Well, there was a pastor in Tennessee who posted that if you wear a mask here, we're going to tell you to leave. And I was stunned. They were apparently vicious. It's like, if you get a COVID shot or wear a mask, and I guess the message is you don't trust God but it's like, oh my God, that's where the church is going, this attack in my mind, vicious, kind of thing.
Oh, they're anti-science, really, if you think about it. I mean, the more extreme ones are, for sure. Because there's a lot of fairly progressive churches these days that allow women to be preachers, allow gay people to be preachers, stuff like that. They're fairly progressive. And that's a hell of a better way to be today than these hardcore, like NAFB guys or, the hardcore churches that will shun you. And it's crazy. So I think the more hats off to the more progressive churches for sure, for being inclusive and stuff like that. It's a step in a better direction.
Well, I'm watching it. It appears that the progressive churches are really being shouted down by the fundamentalist churches, and that's exactly right.
Locke is a head case.
Jesus said, "Love one another." Right? Love your enemy. But wait a minute. No. We're not looking at that verse. We're looking at these other verses, right? God hates, name the sin, fill in the blank. And it's just
hang on here.
Disgusting to me.
Look who decided to grace us with his presence.
He's here.
I fell asleep watching Kenobi. My bad. I was sitting there, and it was space, and I had a big belly of stuff, and I was like, "This is a good show." I'm on top of the phone. The dog barked at something. I was like, "That's it." Yeah, I'm fucked. Yep. Go. My bad. I'm here.
That's all right. You're here now. It's all good. Mikey Lee.
Hi, Mikey.
Hello.
Good to meet you.
You'll have to watch the first part of the interview later.
I'm gonna watch it while you're talking and watch them both at the same time.
Oh,
does it only go well? No.
I'm confused now.
It would just hurt my head.
Yeah. Well, to recap, we talked about Lee's interpretation of what spiritualism is, or spiritual being spiritual, that kind of thing. And we just got into the whole talking about him leaving his quite fundamentalist life behind. Lee, I kind of want to know a little bit more about what was it about being fundamentalist that kind of kept you there for so long? Like, was it something that stood out to you? Like, did you feel some kind of a connection to it?
I think honestly, it was just, ingrained, inculcated fear. This idea, and I've realized, looking back, I've always been, I think, a critical thinker and wanting to think creatively and differently.
Right.
But the idea that you'll be out of step with God, out of fellowship, I could probably go on with some cliches. That was deeply frightening to me. And so that kept me. And then, the latter few years that I was there, I was going to more progressive church and trying to, let me stay in the circle, but get away from that really rigid, traditional thinking. But let me stay in, so I can say, I'm still Bible centered, and I'm still Christian, right? I can still use those labels. Yeah. But it, at a certain point, it just doesn't work. And that kind of leads you to whatever, existential crisis you have.
Did you find like a lot of that stuff was kind of like a particular pastor, or was it like a couple of churches that were fundamental? Because for me, it was definitely like one or two pastors in particular that were. Everybody else was like Baptist. These dudes were on a whole new level.
Well, Mikey, that's a good question. And when you're serious about your faith, right? Like you're all in, you gravitate to some of these hardcore people, right?
Right.
But then, and for me, having worked in a number of settings and being exposed, you say, okay, I'm gonna get a little more open-minded. Maybe you gravitate then to someone who on the outer appearance is more open-minded. Right. But I kept bumping up against certain issues that were just intolerable. This idea that God hates homosexuals. When you begin, like for me, when I began to think for myself, it was like, wait a minute. And there was a church that I was going to, very upper crust in my county, Prince George County, Maryland, a lot of professionals, right? So people who were educated and able to think, supposedly, right? Right. And very kind, right? And the pastor was not a nasty, negative person, but he gave a sermon, using in Judges, there's an account where it's very similar to Sodom and Gomorrah. And, the enemy are these militant, effeminate homosexuals. That was the term he used that Sunday. Ooh. Well, I could not. I was in the fire department at the time. I was an officer, and I had, people on my team who are gay, right? Right. And who, you pretty soon recognize, who cares? Are you going to go in with me? Are you going to, Mm-hmm. And so I realized that Sunday that I would take a stand in every area of my life for, people who were marginalized, but not at my church, not in my faith. And it really that was the moment, that I began to think, what in the hell is going on? So I took that sermon, I went home and I began to research and study for myself. And I sent the pastor an email and I said, there's some issues here. Let's talk about this. But it was all, moral relativism. He didn't answer the question.
Right.
Of course not.
So Mikey, it was interesting. It wasn't that he was, a Greg Locke type, and I don't even know Greg Locke, so I want to be careful. Greg Locke.
Oh, he's a total dick. Don't even worry about it.
Whatever you think he is, 5 times worse.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Easily 5 times worse.
But he wasn't like that. But yet this, this idea that we can't even discuss this very human concern, and that was the point for me, like the road less traveled, where I began to really read and think, and it,
Mm-hmm. Locke's the kind of guy. I mean, he took Andrew Seidel's book. I guess he bought it, so thanks for that, Locke. And then he burnt it on camera. Like,
well,
wow.
Andrew
That's
Seidel,
the kind of person he is.
I believe Andrew Seidel said I don't think he read it. Like you burn a book.
He didn't.
That you don't even read, and it's and so that level of thinking is so ingrained in the evangelical church now. Broad brush, yes, scapegoating, and now I think we all probably know people who are still a member of the faith community and they're open-minded. So I want to be careful. Like, I really don't want to, but my experience was, just marginalizing people and using whatever part of the Bible serves your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We want to shame people who are criminals. Here it is. Here's the verse right here. We want women to submit. Here's the verse. So
that would be like in the daily or like the monthly rotation, right? You got all right. So first one, we're going to talk about how you can't rob God. That we'll do that on the first Sunday. Then we'll go after the women, gays,
gays
probably weed.
People. Yes.
Weed after that.
Devil's lettuce.
And then we're back to next Sunday. So we'll go back to it. How's that sound, everybody? And then all the deacons said amen, and then they just
evolution is false.
Cycle. Right.
Well,
we're gonna get some no in there for the kids.
Isn't it interesting? Because Mikey, you say the rotation, but isn't it interesting that now that evolution is really more well understood, the church says, "Oh, God used evolution." We didn't disbelieve it. We now that was God's design, and so it's this. Wait a minute, let me move that goalpost a little bit. Let me move the goalpost a little bit. I don't want to miss. Slide it over. Oh my goodness! Just be honest about where you're.
Yeah, exactly. They can say, "Oh well, it's God. God started. He started it all, and evolution took over." Well, if that was all part of his plan, then his plan fucking sucked, because there are species that evolved themselves out of existence, and also evolution is what gives us our genetic defects. Some weird mutations and stuff like that happen quite often. So, is that all part of his plan? So it's part of your plan. So that little guy right over there who was born with progeria, that's all part of your plan.
Well, and the same-sex issue was just huge for me for a lot of reasons. There's a member of my family who is.
I was about to ask, do you have a family member? Even though I had gay cousins, we were still going to church every Sunday, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't know if this feels right. Yeah, they're talking about, I don't know if this feels right.
Well, and I'm. Behind me on my bookshelf, there's a book by Matthew Vines. It's called God and the Gay Christian. It was 4 years ago. It was so pivotal for me as I began to think. But there's a guy, and I won't do this justice, but there's a guy named Dean Hamer who's a researcher, and there's some research that says that evolution actually uses homosexuality to propagate the species, like it's a part of a natural plan. Now I can't I still have a lot of work to do, but it's like same-sex attraction makes sense on so many levels, even the larger level. Right. And beyond that, on any given day, do we care who has sex? Like no. We're not thinking about that. I mean,
but just me,
not right in front of me when I'm trying to eat. That's all.
I just care if I have sex. But you're on your own. I just want to make sure I have sex.
You don't stay up at night, Mikey, And you're not late to broadcast because you're worried about somebody having sex, right?
In my dream, that's why I was like, no, no. Get out of here, Ben Kenobi. Jesus tape. Wait, what happened?
Bring me Padme.
Oh my.
Penis fish. What the hell's a penis fish, Blue Code?
Wait, that came up in the chat?
Blue Cat. Yeah.
Oh my.
Let's not forget the penis fish.
Let me go into fucking incognito mode before I Google that. Because that does something.
Yeah.
Penis fish. Boy.
I only care that I don't have sex. Purple. Hi, Purple, by the way.
Oh.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Here you go, folks. Google that one.
It is a fish. Oh God, it looks like thousands of them washed up on a beach somewhere.
Thousands of penis fish washed up.
That's awkward.
This must have been a hell of a party.
Right. Was it Lorena Bobbert Festival? It was a beach party. Oh, people are eating these. Okay, I got to turn this off.
It's very cutting edge.
That's not.
It's all right.
Hey,
All right. All right.
You're real. You're sharp, Neil.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a marble.
We should cut it out. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Surprised you didn't do the full house that Dave said. Cut it out. Anyways, let's pay more attention to Lee. I mean, he is the guest, right? So.
Yeah, stop making fun of jokes about penis fish, for crying out loud. Lee, where in the country are you?
I am in Maryland.
Okay.
Pretty close to Annapolis, which is the state capital.
I heard Atlantic in your accent.
Interesting. I grew up in Virginia, so I tend to have a little bit of a Southern accent, but
yeah, it kind of shines through once.
I'm Missouri, so your country is not the same as my country, and I was like,
yes, your country is. Gosh, what adjective would describe Missouri? More earthy, patriotic. I don't know what is
it? It's like the most northern Confederate state. That's what it's like. That's what our accent is.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think that's accurate.
Missouri.
Yeah. Heaven forbid they have to say Missouri instead of Missouri.
Missouri. Wait, Missouri, is that analogous to America?
America, yeah. Same kind of thing.
Can't say eyes. I don't know what their deal is.
Missouri.
And I had hard R's for a long time. It still comes through every once in a while. I forget.
Missouri.
Yeah.
There you go, crappy.
Speaking of those fucking those fundamentalist churches, they have done everything they can through the legal process and through lawmakers to they closed almost all but one Planned Parenthood in Missouri. There's only one in the whole state.
Oh wow.
It's stunning, and trying to have a conversation, a literal conversation with someone who's fundamental. And I mean, my family, who we are really close, but the intro line is, I believe life begins at conception. And so that then stops any discussion about anything. And Planned Parenthood can just, the fact that a poor person or a needy person or any they got to drive to Idaho, it's and the further social implications, but all thinking stops because I believe my conscience,
or I just believe that I'm not the person who should decide these people's lives.
Well, but we can't trust them to decide their lives. Heaven forbid that we let people, let people decide. Or, oh my God, let's let let women, right? We're going to let women make decisions because they're going to run in droves and make poor decisions. And particularly, I know it's unspoken and there's code, but people of color, we can't trust them. No. So now we have to legalize or, but what stuns me is we can't even have civil conversation about this issue.
I thought you were a sheep following your shepherd. You had a lot of questions, sheep number 444.
Well, it's, and you're seeing it now. They're doing all their last ditch efforts and trying to take control of things because they know that people are waking up to this bullshit and understanding that their positions of privilege are crumbling. Yeah. So they're making noise about it, and that's why we're seeing what we're seeing going on nowadays. But eventually, at least I think so anyways, they'll be weeded out little by little, and proper humanist thinking people will eventually replace them so that America will become better.
Yeah, I would say like 90% of like the kids who are forced to go to church, they have gay friends, so none of this makes sense to them, and they're just going along with the motions. And sure,
yeah, but they'll leave. Like the pews are emptying.
Yeah, the
stats say that these days.
And they're and maybe that's why they're doubling down. It's their death cry, their death knells.
That's actually, I think it was Seth that said exactly that. It's like the death throes.
See, me and Seth, same brain.
I think that's really true, and yet it's disconcerting that, I mean, over half the country believes that women should have their right, and yet look at what the Supreme Court is poised to do, and then Missouri and 14 other states.
It's Missouri.
Missouri. Apologies. They will make decisions that inordinately make it hard for people, or criminal. I mean, and I don't know a lot about this, but Texas has a law that you can rat me out.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of country
are we? So dumb.
And so the death cry and the death knell, but they've accessed some points of power that, to be honest, guys, I'm not quite sure how to overcome that.
Well, I'm honestly, I'll sit back as a Canadian, and I see the shit that's going on down there. You got like fucking, what's her name, MGT or MTG? What the hell's her name?
Marjorie.
Yeah, that's the fucking idiot. And then the other one, Boebert there, or the
Colorado.
Like, how do people with the limited brain cell capacity like those two have get into power? How?
They think they're hot.
No, they're not.
Well,
they don't. They just watch it on mute, and they're like, "Yeah, more of that, yeah." It's like that or Mitch McConnell.
So I gotta go to the bathroom for a minute here.
Well, let me just ask you. I mean, on
MTG.
Do any of us know somebody who had an abortion? I mean, they don't tell us. I mean, I'm saying like this past year, for the most part. I mean, look at what Purple Rhymes just said. But nobody has an abortion on a whim, right? They've given thought to it.
Of course.
And yet this is we're going to take this right away. This is the seminal issue in any country. It's just ridiculous.
You know what's cheaper than an abortion? All men, you can have a free vasectomy, and then they can reverse it when you're ready to have kids.
Yep. It's completely reversible.
Is it really completely reversible?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because they snip something and then they can just reattach it.
Why are we not running that ad on this YouTube channel? I mean, think about that.
I don't get to choose what they run.
Oh, I thought y'all could choose your ads.
I've had people come in here and say, I had to sit through a fucking, was it PragerU commercial?
Yeah, they always go for the group that they know isn't going to care about their shit. It's like,
where's all the Lego ads or the Transformer ads or the whatever? Like, fuck.
Y'all couldn't give me like the latest video game trailer. Nah, I gotta listen to fucking Dennis Prager for. So the reason why I'm a jackass is, and then he fucking adjusts his glasses for 37 minutes.
You sound just like him.
I hate that guy.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm arrogant, but damn, son. Come on, man. Dial it back a bit. You're embarrassing me.
Ollie's having some internet issues. He gets the spinning wheel. Spinning wheel, spinning round. Yeah.
That's a good song. What?
I know, it's totally awesome.
That's something I had.
Must come down. Yeah, oh, yeah, sorry about that. Earworm, people, earworm.
That's a good one. It's a tasty jam.
I mean, Mikey, you and I, we should get together and think up a couple of commercials that we could do that we could run prior, because you could do trailers. So we should do like, are you tired of theists bothering you? New from Johnson & Johnson's, Believer Be Gone. It's kind of spray paint.
It's those Thug Life glasses. But you put them on and you just can't see the ad anymore.
Yeah, right. It's like the reverse of They Live. You just put these on.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Hey, they're gone.
And new from 604 Industries, we have atheist earplugs. Are the Christians in your life droning too loud?
They come in this nice packaging.
Pop them in. Pop them in. Reusable, gluten-free.
Gluten-free.
Dairy-free.
You don't want to get any of that gluten or dairy in your ears, you know.
No, you get an infection. I used to use cheese curds, and it was all bad.
Okay, like Mikey, even my phone's blinking at you.
Tater tots. A couple of tots in each ear. You're good to go.
Actually, somebody said that to Locke one time. He left a comment that why don't you just have some more hater tots there, Locke? And I was like, instead of tater tots. Earplugs, I'd buy those.
Only someone
talk
like
to me
Locke,
after the show.
Only someone like Locke can ruin something as pure tater tot.
I know. He is a little hater tot.
Hater tot.
Loaded tater tots, though, are the best bar food ever. Every bar should be mandated to carry them.
Wait, loaded tater tots.
Bed of tater tot, cheese, bacon, maybe chives, sour cream.
Yeah, me a bacon.
That's got to be a Chicago thing. I've not seen that in Maryland.
It's good stuff, man. It's the closest
Maryland's
thing I've ever
slacking.
had to poutine.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be that literally, dude. You're saying it's like a tater tot version of poutine.
Mm-hmm. See,
It's
the
poutine,
Canadian
not teen.
poutine. Okay, I don't speak a Quebecois.
Yes, that's right. Come up to Quebec. It'll teach you right. To give you some good poutine.
Canadians act like they're our friends, Lee, but then they just tell us maple syrup, beaver moose, and then we just believe
Beaver
that
moose, Canada goose, and poutine.
but they leave out
Snow shovel.
They leave it all out. All the delicious snacks that they got from the French Canadians, they keep it to themselves unless you live like on the border or something like that.
There's a place in Toronto that's Putin Palace, I think it's called, or something along those lines, and there's
Really?
like 112 different toppings you can put on them, like everything from, like, of course, bacon bits, which many people get. You get your gravy, your cheese curds, which is normal. You can put on pulled pork, pulled chicken, pulled turkey, all these different things you can put on there, man.
That is serious.
What's up, Ox?
Ox, hello.
Ox just showed up.
So I always ask people this: what was the music selection like at the church you last went to? Were they doing some like weird hymnal stuff with like no guitar? Yeah, they were rocking out to the latest Limitless tracks.
Well,
That's how they keep you in there.
Well, it is, and you know, if your music budget is good.
Spider's sleeping.
What are those? Are spiders?
Well, I have. He's a redback jumping spider.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I just got actually really cool. I just got the little platforms you can stick on there, and they can sit on them.
They can sit on that. I mean, have you seen him sit on that? Like actually, like chill out.
Yeah, he's been on the big one. He hasn't touched the little one yet, but he's been on the big one.
That's cool.
Do they also make webs? Do they?
Yeah, they do. Little funnels that they sleep in.
Oh, okay.
And they'll spread some around.
Like little hammocks?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
He's in the back there, sleeping there. And he's got his little funnel-y thing that he's made behind the fake marijuana leaf there. And,
okay, what is his name?
Loki.
Loki. All right.
Yeah.
You got the festival spiders like making a little funnel web, chilling with the pot leaves, just enjoying the vibe.
Mikey, in answer to your question, I went to some churches that the music was really good, like upbeat, and I mean they would mix, you know, praise God from who da 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 da. That's the classic of all time, right? Mm-hmm. So you mix that with the really upbeat stuff, and you'll just have people, and it just holds you. So, and then when you have some really good musicians, I mean the music was good.
That's how they.
I used to go late Sundays to a place here that was like a blues pub, and they had the gospel singers would come in late on Sundays, and after they did their thing at the church, and there's like 7 or 8 of them, and they'd get up and they'd just go to the house down. Oh yeah, and everyone in there's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Not giving a shit about the message. It's just these gals could fucking bark it out like you wouldn't believe, like just whoa, yeah, I feel the spirit moving in me, that kind of shit, right? So they were incredible, and I used to go get drunk, watch them on Sundays, and then show up late for work on Monday.
Barkeep, more wine. The singers are entertaining me.
And we used to sit with them and chat with them for a couple hours. And you guys ever watched the old Highlander TV show and the dude with the cane, John Byrne, I think his name is?
Yeah.
Anyways, he was there all the time. So we used to shoot the shit with him quite often.
I don't know what that is. Highlander?
Yeah. Highlander, the TV series. And it's the gray-haired dude with the cane.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Yeah. We used to sit and hang with him sometimes. Yeah. When he was there. He's always there, though. It's like it was his second home. He's a big blues fan. Well, he played blues too, right? So anyway.
Cool.
Lee, I want to know how has it been for you since becoming or calling yourself a non-believer, anyways, if you don't like to use the term atheist anymore, or you're spiritual humanist, if you will. How has that been for you in regards to like your day-to-day relationships, family and friends and stuff like that? How have they taken this?
Well, little bit of a mixed bag, and it was tough early on. Nobody says, hey, we're not going to talk to you anymore. But all of a sudden, you don't get any invites. You're no longer invited to parties. The email chains you were on. And the other topic that was really big for me was this idea of hell. And when I discovered that hell did not exist, and it was this revelation in my life, and I announced it, that was kind of like when people, they keep you now you're really not invited to barbecues and, graduations. And so that was a tough period. You feel lonely and you wonder, who are my friends, right? Do I hold this stuff in, right? Do I keep my stuff quiet and go to these events, or do I be who I am? But you find your way through that, and you connect with different communities of people who are who they are. So on the other side, that's why I truly feel that I'm a born again humanist. I'm so excited about life. I'm so excited about the potential. Tons of Mice is on it.
He's always on.
And so, you make it to a place where you don't need all that. But it was tough the first 6 months. And when your family listens to you and they go, and And that's all they say, right? You've done all this reading, all this research, and you've made some changes, and they go, it's tough. But honestly, and so in that time, as I'm searching, I leaned into the Thinking Atheist. I leaned into Aaron Ra. I leaned into Matt Dillahunty. I leaned into Neil the 604 Atheist, who when I started watching,
I heard that guy's a dick.
He didn't become a dick. When I started watching him, there was no Mikey. That first year, there was no Mikey. So I don't know, Mike. I don't know what influence you had, but
in the thunder cracks.
That's it. But they became my.
I am Satan.
The atheist experience. They became my family, even though I didn't know them. Right? I sent an email and then there's a new guy. What's his name? Tim Mills, harmonic atheist.
Yes, I've had him on the show.
And so it's
I've been on his.
That community was talking about things that my church wouldn't talk about in my family.
Mm-hmm.
So they got me through. And then you realize, wait a minute, I don't need your approval. I don't need you to tell me what I can believe. I can make friends. And when you realize that, to be honest, this other subject that's become so important to me, like the church says, we own morality, right? We own morality. The Ten Commandments.
No, you fucking don't.
The most moral people that I know are atheists.
Right.
That's anecdotal. I can't. And so somebody just said, Lee's not an atheist. Neil, I don't know what I am. I just know that I'm excited about people and life.
I would call you a non-believer in the biblical God and probably all other gods. I'm pretty sure you take it that far. The way you describe yourself as a spiritual humanist, meaning that you feel that we have a connection to the universe, which I believe is true. We do. We are of it, and we will return to it. Ox claims not to be an atheist too, and something about creation. I believe in creation, but no God. Then who did the creation there, Ox? Nature. Nature doesn't need to be called a creator. Nature just does what it does. But anyway, yeah, and I agree with you. I think we are all connected to the universe one way or another.
Well,
like I said, stars exploded so you could be here.
And if I could just carry it a step farther, does it really matter what Mikey calls himself? Like, do I have to give Mikey a label, or could I say he's a cool dude?
Asshole works. Oh yeah, cool dude works.
And can I say that Neil is a genuine guy? I think you like giving blood or something. I think you have.
I was a dedicated donor. Yeah.
And so this, and then let me say this. You said non-believer, right, in the biblical, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a believer. I believe in the goodness of people. I believe in cooperation. I believe in second, like.
You're a humanist.
We believe in things. So when a person says you're not a believer, who are you? Who the hell are you to tell me I'm not a believer? I believe in hope. I believe in, you know what I'm saying? And so these terms, I believe.
Yeah, like they co-opted belief, like it only means my God.
That's it. Like, who owns these terms, right? This term spiritual. If I found out that Neil or Mikey doesn't like the word spiritual, I wouldn't use it.
No, I don't care. You feel free to use it. I use it too sometimes.
But who owns the term? And so somebody just said, I believe in what was that thing Mikey said that they serve tater tots, stuffed tater tots?
Yeah. Oh, loaded tater tots?
I believe I'll order some tater tots. Like people always said to me, like, you believe in something? I go, yeah, I believe I'll have another beer.
Hello. So.
Yeah, well, we all believe things.
Well, but isn't that interesting in the journey to understanding what Neil believes and what others believe? Like help me understand more about what you believe, right? Like that's an opening question.
Yeah, of course. Of course, that's basically epistemology, really. What do you believe and why do you believe it? I believe ultimately we will become better as a species. It's going to take some time, and we're feeling those bumps and shit now. We're feeling the pains and the growing pains and all that of it all now. We're still evolving. Evolution never stops. They're saying that in 50, 60 years' times, our brains will be slightly different than they are now. And well, matter of fact, you're not the same person you were 7 years ago. Your cells replace themselves every somewhere between 7 and 10 years. So 10 years ago, there was a completely different cellular person sitting here.
So 2 questions. 1, does that not give credence to the term born again? And 2, why didn't Mikey respond to that vision, like his body language? That was pretty good, Neil. Like,
well, you're muted, Mikey. You're muted.
No, I mean, our brains not being the same. I mean, like, what does that say? It says we're growing, we're developing,
We're changing.
we're changing.
We evolve. We continue to evolve. Every time you have kids, there's shit that that you pass on to them, obviously, but there's stuff that they will gain anew. It's something that'll be unique to them. But it's all. Yeah. Sadie says right there. Yeah, and Sadie knows what she's talking about. She's in this. Some cells replace every day. Yeah, some take years, some never do. Well, the ones that never do are those ones will be inside your brain, but your body generally recycles its cells.
No, I recycle them bitches too. I don't remember shit.
Yeah, there you go. See, so unfortunately, brain cells. Well, some do. I was just reading an article on this sort of thing that some do replace themselves, and broken neural pathways can be repaired too. Apparently now. But no, you can't fix stupid. you can muffle it with duct tape, though.
I have a tool. Let me see.
You can't muffle it with stuffed tater tots, can you?
No.
Well, you put enough in there, you could. But it won't last long because I'll just be like, all right, now back to stupid things. Now back to
and God make a tater tot. Oh, delicious. Not even he can eat it, though. A plate of nachos so big.
Oh, Sadie's already. She's like, no. I'm like, you can't. You can't say that. No, remember, Sadie. You got to remember. No sciences are really final because we're constantly discovering new things.
Very good. Very good.
Right? So, well, some things are final. Like some things, they said, okay, this is the most we can get out of this particular topic or whatever. But yeah. Anyway,
Ring the chamois.
Are we going to do a chamois commercial before that?
Yes.
And Dana cells never die. Weak.
I gotta get that
sauce.
hat.
That's great.
Gotta get that hat.
We still need to do the merch shit, man. What the hell? Nice to see you, Blue Cat. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks, Blue Cat 42.
As a matter of fact, let's. What do you say, Lee? Is there one little piece of advice you might want to give to folks out there in the audience? Sir?
Wow, gosh, I didn't expect that. I think whatever your journey is, be true to it, and it's going to be okay.
Unless it's going to get you into trouble, you might want to change course at that point.
Well, if it what did John Lewis say? Good trouble.
Yeah.
So
good trouble. Yeah.
But I hear you, Neil. But I was scared to death to leave fundamental Christianity, and I feel like I am truly living, really living.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
like I said, when they break free, it's like they're a whole new person, and they never realized that life could be this much better.
Right.
That's the advice I wanted to give, and you just said it, Neil.
Well, I was reading your mind. See, I'm psychic.
Neil, would you stop interrupting?
I'm sorry, Mikey. What'd you say?
Neil, can you stop interrupting Leo? He was just about to say that. He was just
I'm sorry, Mikey.
that. Yeah, he was going to say
spank
that
me
exactly.
later.
Better.com or whatever. Get your tickets for Better, everybody.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that because I was going to do a little bit of a promo because this is one of it'll be this show, tonight and Saturday, which, by the way, guys, my show will be on at noon Pacific this coming Saturday to accommodate our guest who is in Brussels. Yeah, somewhere out
Is it
in
Arnold
Europe
Schwarzenegger?
there. Arnold. Yeah,
Is
it's
it
not
the
a Tumba.
Arnold?
But so we're going to be going live at noon, folks. So stop by the channel around noon Pacific or 1 Mountain, 2 Central, 3 Eastern, and 4 Maritime. And you'll be able to check out the show. And then that'll be it, because the upcoming week, I don't even think I'm doing a Tuesday show because I got some prep stuff to do. Let me double check that I wasn't stupid. And nope, that's right. Nope, I did. Oh yeah, no, I did. I did book Tuesday. So we got Saturday with By Atheist Ex Jew, and then Tuesday with Michael Granado. The Saturday's at noon, and the Tuesday will be at 5 as usual. And then from the 23rd to the 28th, I will be away. So I'll be back on the 30th of June with Jen Stemmer. So, and then we got a few days open for July. The first half of July, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. No, 5 days still available.
I got a couple people lined up for you.
I know I got a couple other folks that want to have a look too. Oh shit! Actually, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first half. I haven't planned the second half of July because I may be taking some time off again. I am not sure, but I'll know more towards that time. Anyway, Lee, thank you so much for joining Mikey and myself for today's episode, my friend.
Well, thank you, guys. I'm big fans of the two of you, and thank you for letting me hang out with you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah,
And we're going to do some more hanging out. So stick around, folks. We'll be going live in a little bit, take a bit of a break between the shows, but we're going to be doing an after party. And there is a link to it in the description box. It'll also appear in the screen. You can just click that at the end of the credits or whatever the fuck they are. But anyways, so we're going to get together, and Lee will be with us for a bit anyways. And we'll have some fun there. Also, thanks to my awesome patrons. You guys are amazing. I couldn't do what I do without you. Neil, stop reading the chat. Speaking of the chat, you guys are great too. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, that's about it. So we'll get into the after party soon, probably closer to 25 after or 6:30ish. It's not going to be a super long one because I am so tired. So I'm going to try and get an earlier night tonight.
Hey, I just had a fresh nap, so I feel great.
I know. Well, then I might bail, and you can just continue hanging out with Mikey. There you go.
They don't like me.
Piss and vinegar
They don't like me.
Don't like me.
They don't like me very much.
Too much of an asshole. That's the problem.
Yeah. Newsflash, everybody! I can't turn it off. I'm just like this.
That's why we love you, Mike. All right, we're gonna do that after party thing. Let us know if you'd like to be involved. And until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of the interviews parts, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.